Chapter 126. There was a snitch shot by a journalist. After dinner, the butler came over to deliver the clothes to William Walton. As usual, William Walton stayed at her house. She clearly felt helpless before, but she was probably already used to it, so she didn't think much of it. However, she knew in her heart that their current condition was definitely abnormal from the perspective of outsiders. But so what? She knew. Their relationship was simple. After breakfast, the two went downstairs together. Just as she walked out of the building, William Walton suddenly turned his body quickly and blocked her path. She was about to look up at him. He had already pressed her face into his arms. She was confused. "William Walton, what are you doing?" "Shh!" Someone was secretly taking pictures in the grass on the left. She tensed up and her body stiffened. She whispered, "Why? What should we do?" William Walton took off his thin shirt and directly covered her head, covering her entire face. He held her hand tightly and said, "Let's go. I'll take you to the car." Her gentle gaze was suddenly obscured, and she really could not see anything. The only person she could rely on was William Walton. She grasped William Walton's hand tightly and pulled his arm in front of her. The other hand went around to the left and tightly wrapped around his arm. After William Walton sent her to the carriage, he drove away. She sat obediently in the back of the car and didn't dare to take off her clothes. William Walton looked at her in the rearview mirror and could not help but laugh. "You look just like the new bride right now," she said. "Don't joke with me. I'm about to die from fright. Take off your clothes. We've already left the district." It was only then that she relieved. She took off her clothes, looked around, and said anxiously, "This is not the way to school. You can't be bringing me to your house, right? There are several cars following behind you. Are you sure that you can still safely escape after I send you to school?" She walked forward until half her body was in the front seat of the car, and looked at him with a pleading face. "Then what do we do? I can't lose my job. Avery Harris has been targeting me the entire time. If I lose all my points, I'll be expelled." "Then just let them fire you. Anyway, this job of yours isn't worthy of your ability." "No, I can't be so unpromising. I have to persevere on my own path. Even if I have to kneel, I have to finish walking. So, I'm letting you go now and get photographed?" "Then what do we do?" William Walton smiled. "Beg me. I have all sorts of ways to help you out of your current predicament." She pursed her lips affectionately and rolled her eyes at him. "Don't you know who brought me this trouble? So, you're not going to get away? Since you were filmed, there was no loss whatsoever for me. I can tell the world that you are the woman I like." After William Walton finished speaking, he suddenly said, Indeed, this is truly a good idea. It just so happens that I can take this opportunity to let all the men in the world know that this woman is mine. Even if you look at her, I would still hold a grudge." "William Walton, you—" He laughed and interrupted her. "Considering that you might not want to be exposed, I am still willing to respect you. Quickly tell me, do you or do you not want to beg me? Please, I'm begging you. Is that not enough? Your actions are obviously not good enough. You know what I want, but you're still not doing it. That means you're not sincere." Laura gritted her teeth. He was trying to force her to become a prostitute. He smiled evilly. "Count 1 to 3. After that, if you still don't take action, I'll turn back and send you back to school." Then he said, 1, 2, 2, 5, 2, 6. She leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek. William Walton was satisfied. "Not bad, good girl." She leaned back in her chair and steadied herself. Now she could only trust him. After all, she had already kissed him. The car drove directly into the backyard of the villa. William Walton said to Butler, "How many cars do we have at home?" 7. You go to the backyard and choose 6 younger female employees to change into casual clothes. Each of them gets into a car, and after you leave, head in different directions to Philadelphia and come back half an hour later." "Okay, young master." The butler left. William Walton looked at her. "In a while, you will also go in and change your clothes, and follow the last car out." She raised her wrist to check the time. It was over. It was already 8 o'clock, but now she had no other choice. She turned around and entered the villa, quickly changing into the clothes. The butler had prepared for her and went downstairs. Every 3 minutes a car drove out of the villa. She stood beside the car and said helplessly, "Tell me, will I be fired today?" "That's great, I'll raise you." She pursed her lips. "I don't want a freeload." "I'll eat, then raise me." "Sorry, I don't have any money." "After the marriage, mine will be yours. You can raise me, so it's decided." She wasn't in the mood to joke with him. After all, she was in the wrong to be late. William Walton patted her shoulder. "Relax, that kiss of yours is worth a lot. I have always kept my promise, so I guarantee that nothing will happen to you today." When she saw his confident expression, she couldn't help but relax a bit. William Walton continued, "This afternoon, after you get off work, there will be a driver to pick you up. Remember, don't go back to the big city home by yourself." She looked at him gloomily. "It's all your fault. I have to find a new place to rent my house. I really like Big City Home's place. It's close to the school, and the rent is cheap." He curled his lips. "You can look for another good place to stay after the limelight has passed. For a short period of time, you will be staying here." "How can that be? Your place is even more dangerous. Don't you know that the most dangerous place is the safest?" She gently frowned. William Walton, you must be doing this on purpose. William Walton laughed sinisterly. You've seen through me, but this is the best way to proceed. After all, you've been a teacher to my family, so living here is reasonable, and the security here is also the best. No reporter will be able to get in. He patted her on the shoulder and said, All right, it's settled then. Let's get on the car and go to work. Feeling depressed, she got into the car and left. It's over. It wasn't easy to come up with an excuse to move out after the test, and now she had to move back. When her car came out, there was no longer a reporter's car at the door. Laura relaxed a lot. He really did have a way. This person was truly intelligent. Arriving at the school gate just as she got off the car, Benjamin Walton walked over from the school gate. She was surprised. Why are you here? My brother called me and told me to come pick you up. Pick me up? Chapter 127. Rich men sure know how to play. Yes, I'm sick. The two of us just returned from the hospital. You have to send me to the infirmary to recuperate before you can return to the office. She raised her eyebrows and sized him up. I can't tell that you're sick. Are all those cancer sufferers who go to the hospital to find out about the terminal cancer because of something written on their faces? What the? She glared at him. You brat, why don't you say anything good? Hurry up and spit it out. Benjamin Walton laughed. Laura, you are so superstitious. After saying that, she raised her hand to pat his head. If I tell you to puke, you puke. Benjamin Walton was speechless, then said, Pooh, what the heck is going on here? You guys are just dating, I'm a gunner. Hurry and go, it's too hot. She scoffed. This brat. When she returned to her office, Mia said, Laura, why did you only just arrive? We just finished the morning class. Mr. Harris wanted you to go find him. That meant she had truly been captured alive. Calm down. Calm down. Inside Avery Harris's office, the cool air was turned on a little low. With a cold expression, he asked, What do you have to say for yourself for being late today? I can't be considered to be late. The student is sick. I took him to the hospital and just sent him to the infirmary. Oh? Which student? Benjamin Walton. Avery Harris was displeased. Laura, you have become crafty. What I said is true. You can go to the infirmary and confirm it. You think that you can safely pass the test just because of this? You can casually deduct the points. In any case, William Walton already said it. If I got expelled, he will raise me. Laura, Avery Harris berated. Laura laughed and said, I hope in the future, you won't call me into your office too often. Last time, your mother intentionally called William Walton over to the school to accuse me because of the things you did to me in the canteen. Fortunately, William Walton believes in me. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be able to wash away my sins, even if I jumped into the river. Avery Harris clenched his fists. I don't know about this. I've thought of it, so I'll remind you of my own accord. Avery Harris's voice became much calmer. Can we really not go back? Even if there is a 1 in a million chance of that happening? When she saw his helpless look, she nodded seriously. I can't go back. We don't have a chance. What if I do everything to return to your side? I no longer have your place by my side, she said calmly. I will not give the man who betrayed me a second chance. Never. But what if I can pull you from hell to heaven again? Her eyes rolled to the ceiling and she exhaled. No need, someone has already pulled me up. If you want me to leave the school today, then I'll go back and pack my stuff and leave. She walked out. Avery Harris said when she opened the door, I won't deduct you any more points. If I can't even see you at school, then I really will lose you. Completely and utterly. After pausing for a moment, she still opened the door and went out. When she returned to her office, Sabrina was holding a phone to chat with Mia. Sabrina said, Rich men sure know how to play. That is to say, Miranda suffered for others. Mia replied, Looks like this woman is his true love. She walked over. When she saw the photo on Sabrina's phone, her face turned green. In that photo, William Walton covered her head and pushed her into the carriage. Someone uploaded it to the internet. She could not understand. Why would she upload a picture that did not even show her face? Seeing that she was also looking at the picture, Sabrina looked at her with a gossipy heart. Laura, have you read the news about Miranda in the past few days? She tensed up and pretended to be natural as she said, It's on the headlines every day. It's hard to miss it. I heard that you knew Miranda. You even asked for her autograph for your classmates. Are you very familiar with Miranda? How is she? Is she real or fake? Look at this photo. Why do I feel that the person in the photo is the real love of Mr. Walton? She scratched her forehead and looked at the photo again. It seemed like none of them could tell who it was. After all, her face was covered very tightly. Moreover, she had also changed her clothes. She calmly replied, I don't know Miranda. The autograph was obtained from a friend of mine. As for her personality, I have no way of knowing. Ah, what a pity. I wanted to get some gossip from your mouth. She smiled in a gentle and kind manner. I don't know. Sabrina once again looked at Mia. My dear, I am sure that this is his true love. Mia nodded. I think so. After hesitating for a moment, Laura asked, I don't think so. Sigh, you are still too inexperienced. I heard that Mr. Walton has a good business, but he is not a good person. It was entirely possible that in order to protect his true love, he had pushed Miranda out of the wall. Otherwise, looking at the scandal between him and Miranda, he had not come out to clarify it. Yes, my sensitive sense of smell tells me that the woman that Mr. Walton has hidden is definitely not simple. Oh my God, I really want to snatch away this woman's material. I'm really too curious, just what kind of person is able to capture such a powerful man? Even though she truly felt that Sabrina was exaggerating, but for some reason, when she heard her say this, she couldn't help but laugh. It was indeed very funny. This person was clearly standing in front of her. Sabrina looked at her in bewilderment. Laura, what are you smiling for? Huh? She paused. It's nothing. I just remembered something else. Mia asked. Did the young master just deduct your points? She returned to her desk and sat down. No, because I sent the students to the hospital. I wasn't late. Mia nodded her head. You should be more careful in the future. If you have anything like that, give him a call early. He's been keeping an eye on you recently, and you should pay attention to him. She nodded and smiled at Mia. She had just put her bag in the closet when her cell phone rang. Seeing that it was Betty Anderson, she picked up the phone. Since she wasn't going to pick up anyway, she would find the school. The phone was connected, and before she could say a word, Betty Anderson shouted crazily on the other end of the line. Laura, you bitch, you're as low as your mother. You won't give up Mr. Walton, right? Fine, let's give it a try. I want to see if he is yours or mine in the end. Just wait and see, I won't let you off so easily. Chapter 128. Senior sister, I like you. She put her phone down beside the table. What a crazy woman. Thinking about the photo that she saw on Sabrina's phone, she suddenly realized that this Betty Anderson must have recognized her. Thinking about that day when she came to assault her because she thought William Walton abandoned her. She couldn't help but smile. No wonder that girl was so angry. She deserved it. At noon, she went to the cafeteria to eat with Mia. Just as they walked out of the cafeteria onto University Road, a few boys surrounded them. Mia looked at the kids and asked, What are you guys doing? A male student shouted, Mia, quickly come out. Two boys went to drag Mia out of the encirclement. She warmly looked at the boys and frowned. What do you have to say to me? One of the boys walked forward and stood in front of her. This boy, however, was someone she knew well. He was a junior to her 2 grades of studies, a well-known figure in the foreign languages department. He played basketball well and also had the language of the 4 countries. Because he was tall and had good looks, he was known as the Troy of the foreign language department. She looked at Neil calmly. You must be Neil. Senior sister, you know me? She pursed her lips and said, Yes, I've met with you a few times in the past, but do you need anything? Neil took a deep breath and said, Senior sister, I like you. Can you be my girlfriend? Mia was standing a few steps away. She was shocked. She had heard quite a bit about her students' confession to their teacher, but most of them were girls confessing to the boys. This was the first time she had seen such a confession. The boys, who had surrounded the two of them, jeered. Accept him. Together. Accept him. Together. Because of their vast and mighty presence, the surroundings quickly surged with many people who were watching from the sidelines. After a moment of thought, she said, I won't date a boy younger than me. That's why I'm only 1 year younger than Senior, so I'm not considered young. Furthermore, I have confidence that as long as Senior agrees to my pursuit, I will definitely not give up halfway, and will definitely treat you well, and never go back on my word. In the future, your name will be written on our real estate certificate and car. My salary card will definitely be turned to you, and there are so many witnesses. If I break my promise or one day, then I will be punished to death. The boys continued to jeer at him, and during this period of time, many people were gathering around and also started to jeer at them. She said, Do you want to walk alone with me? There are too many people here, so some things are inconvenient to say. The boy nodded. All right. The few good brothers he brought with him dispersed the crowd. She said to Mia, Mia, you return to your office first. I'll be back in a while. She left with the boy. Mia couldn't help but sigh as she watched their backs. What a perfect match. No matter who stood with Laura, they would be such a beautiful scenery. As the two walked further and further away, the atmosphere around them became quieter. Neil's expression was slightly nervous. Miss Green, I know what you're worried about. You might think that I'm unreliable, but don't worry. You're my role model. I've always worked hard in my studies. Also, my dad is a diplomat. The road ahead I will definitely walk smoothly, so... She interrupted him. Neil, I feel that you're quite outstanding, but I'm sorry for being late. I already have a boyfriend. When she returned to the office, Mia looked at her. She laughed. Mia, are you curious about the results? I don't think you'll accept him. How could you have such thoughts? Based on what I know about you. She should not be too familiar with Mia, right? No. Then why did you leave with him? That would have a bad effect on you. It doesn't matter. My reputation has gone bad anyway. All I know is that the person whose reputation has gone bad is Avery Harris. It's not like you did anything wrong. She did not say anything else. Because there were too many spectators, the whole school was discussing this matter in the afternoon. Everyone was curious about what did Laura say to Neil. However, the two of them did not talk about the topic they had discussed at that time. She acted as if nothing had happened. Neil didn't seem to be injured at all. Therefore, some people speculated that these two people were probably already together. After work in the afternoon, when she walked out of the school gates, she saw a driver waiting for her. She walked over, and just as she got on the car, before even closing the door, Benjamin Walton ran over and squeezed into the car. She looked at him warmly. "You're going home today?" "Yeah, can I?" Benjamin Walton was a little unhappy. "All right, that's your house. You have the final say." Benjamin Walton looked at her, curled his lips, and said unhappily, "Laura, you're not kind." "How am I unkind? A woman with her feet on two boats is not kind at all." As she looked at his expression, she couldn't help but smile. "You didn't tell William about this, right?" "No, but I'm going to tell him later. You got troubles. William would be jealous." "Then get out of the car." Benjamin Walton crossed his legs. "No, if I don't report it, William will take care of me in the future. He's petty." Then he said to the driver, "Drive." The driver started the car and left. "Then I'll tell him myself. Don't you dare cause trouble." "Laura, I've discovered that you are rather afraid of William." "Why should I be afraid of him? Can he even eat me?" With that, she felt a little guilty. That tyrannical man really might eat her, she continued. "However, it is true that he is unreasonable." When she finished, they looked at each other and smiled. Sometimes Benjamin Walton felt that this Laura was really mysterious. After all, it was hard for someone like his William to accept being approached by others. However, not only did Laura approach him, she even drilled into William's heart. Towards Laura, he truly admired her. The only regret was the family background of her. Forget it, William doesn't care. Why was he thinking so much? The car drove back to the villa and stopped in front of William Walton's residence. The two got out of the car and walked into the living room. William Walton was actually here. He sat on the sofa with a cold expression. When he heard the sound of movement at the door, he looked at the two people at the door with a cold gaze. Seeing that, Benjamin Walton whispered into his ears, "The atmosphere is not right." "I agree." Just as she finished speaking, Benjamin Walton walked forward. "William, there's something I need to report to you about today." She stared at William Walton's back speechlessly. This brat, he dropped the flag really quickly. William Walton interrupted him and said coldly, "Benjamin, go back to your place first." After hearing the order, Benjamin Walton even looked at her as he turned around to leave. Laura clenched her teeth. He was not loyal, William Walton said. "Except Laura, everyone get out." Chapter 129, I Can't Breathe. 4 or 5 people left the house with the butler. There was a layer of haze on his face. He looked at her and patted the seat beside him. "Come and sit. I've been sitting here for an entire day. I think I'll just stand here for a while." "You're waiting for me to bring you over?" Laura walked around the tea table without saying anything else and sat down not far away from him. As she expected, just as she sat down, she was pushed down by William Walton. She looked at him nervously. "Can't you talk properly if you have something to say?" "How does it feel to be confessed?" "How did you know?" "What do you think?" "Benjamin Walton, this kid actually lied to me. I already said it, I won't tell you by my own." It seemed that there was indeed a confession saying it wasn't him who said it, but it seems that the two of you have already discussed it. "All right, let me hear it. What do you want to say?" "Can we sit down and let's talk? You're pressing me down so hard that I can't breathe." William Walton sat up. "Be honest with me, otherwise you'll understand me better." She sat up and adjusted her clothes. "You said that it wasn't Benjamin who said it. Could it be that it's our principal again? Who else would care so much about you other than her?" She was unsatisfied. "How could you listen to her? For my matter, she definitely added oil to the fire. She reckoned that I went with a male student to the small forest." William Walton raised his eyebrows. "No matter what she says, I don't believe it. I only believe you. Now, tell me." He always was the most reasonable person. "Today at noon, there was a male student who confessed to me. Because there were too many onlookers at that time, I left alone with him to clarify things elsewhere." "Oh?" He hugged his chest and raised his eyebrows with cold eyes. "It seems like you've rejected him." "Of course, I refused. Otherwise, how can I date a student? But why you chose to go somewhere else to clarify? With so many people watching, wouldn't it be better to explain it clearly?" "It's because you went somewhere else that people talk about you." "If I were to reject him in front of so many people, he would definitely take a blow and be ridiculed by so many people in the future. He likes me because of his kind intentions and goodwill. I don't want to hurt him because of my own thoughts. There will be many social shocks in the future. Can you help him avoid them all?" "A social blow. After all, it has nothing to do with me. My original intention was very simple. It was to not let innocent people be harmed because of me." "Then you don't care about what others say about you," Laura pouted. "Before, I also cared a lot about what others called me. But after knowing you, you said something that I especially liked." "What does what they say about me have to do with me?" William Walton tilted his head and laughed. "So what did our principal say about me?" "She said that you didn't know how to act properly, so you seduced a third-year male. After being confessed by a male, you took the male and left on your own. You must do something disgusting. Let me be careful of you." She gritted her teeth in displeasure. This Monica Brown, aren't her thoughts too dirty? You're actually angry with me because of her words? You've just pulled your face so long, it's obvious that you're angry. You got angry because you believed her words, right? I'm angry because you're too attractive. How can you be targeted by a man wherever you go? When you were in the company, it was one of the men in your department who chased after you. I heard that there were more than one who had their eyes on you in the company. In school, the brainless boys all worship you as their goddess. Oh, how childish. My women, what right do they have to regard you as their goddesses? I really want to lock you up. I'm the only one who can watch. She should have been angry because she wasn't trusted. But why was he so indignant, as if he was about to explode in anger? And did he really have the face to call others childish? What's the name of that little boy? What are you trying to do? He made me unhappy. What am I going to do? Don't do anything rash. I've already made it clear to him, and he's promised that he won't do anything reckless in the future. What will happen if you stir up some trouble? They might think I care a lot about it. If I don't teach him a lesson, how can I make those brats not dare to pursue you in the future? William Walton, don't be bored. How can I not be able to settle such a small matter? If you are not happy, that is your problem. You should solve it by yourself. You can't blame others. According to what you said, you're spreading the gossip with Miranda right now. Then those men who view Miranda as their goddess will come out and fight against you, won't they? Do they have the ability to do that? So, with your ability, you can do whatever you want? A look of displeasure appeared on her face. Obviously, he didn't do well enough. He was infuriated that she would actually accuse him, and his expression showed displeasure. However, Laura was not afraid of him at all. You said that Miranda has nothing to do with you, but after all your rumors have spread for such a long time, the two of you are actually having an affair here, with no one coming out to clarify it. What is the difference between your actions now and a tacit agreement? According to your logic, since you have silently agreed to this relationship, why can't the men who like Miranda curse you 3 times a day? After speaking, William Walton raised his eyebrows. His originally sullen face broke into a smile. He moved closer to her. Laura, you still dare to say that you're not jealous? I'm just talking. Very good. William Walton nodded. Continued to deny it. I wasn't jealous in the first place, she said through gritted teeth. You were the one who said the wrong things. I was only trying to refute you. William Walton looked at her with doting smile, took out his phone and made a call to Moishe. Moishe, tell your company's PR department to clarify the relationship between Miranda and I. Why? There's a jar of aged vinegar in my house. The lid is broken, and the sour smell is stinging my eyes. When he said this, her face was filled with embarrassment. She had said it 180 times already. She wasn't jealous. She really wasn't jealous. Moishe was also open-minded. Once William Walton said this, he immediately understood the meaning behind it. He nodded his head and said, All right, I will arrange it right away. You can fix the vat. After the two of them hung up, William Walton gave Daniel a call. Immediately send out a statement saying that I have no relationship with actor Miranda. Furthermore, with the media spreading rumors, I will definitely use legal means to protect my own interests. After hanging up, he looked at her with a gentle smile. Do you know why we didn't clarify the rumors before? Chapter 130, New Neighbor. She pursed her lips. How would I know? He said she was jealous and asked her questions as if it wasn't a big deal. He truly is. Shameless. That's right, she was uncomfortable. First of all, I made a small deal with him. He used my identity to help his company bring honor to Miranda. In the future, our company will use Miranda as a spokesperson for our company, and all of them will be exempt from the endorsement fee. Secondly, because I really enjoy seeing someone jealous. After all, only when someone is jealous can I personally feel that I am truly important to someone. William Walton smiled. Now you can stop worrying. Miranda and I have never known each other before. You two people you don't know will go to Bali together? Even though you said that you weren't jealous, the news that you were supposed to be watching didn't get out. Since you care so much, let me explain to you that I have never gone to Bali with Miranda. I did go to Bali on vacation, and often. As for Miranda, I only found out from the news that she went to Bali with me on the same flight and that we even stayed in the same hotel. However, from the beginning to the end, I didn't have any interaction with her. I learned everything about that day, just like you, from the news. After he finished explaining, she still stubbornly said, I'll say it one last time. I'm not jealous. What does jealousy have to do with anything? Others have all seen the news too. Fine, you aren't jealous, I am jealous. Even if you don't have that kind of attitude towards others, but others only covet you, I am unhappy, so... Do you think I should ruin your face? Anyways, even if you're not pretty anymore, I still want you. She rolled her eyes at him and got up. I want to eat, I'm starving. William Walton laughed sinisterly. He made a call and called the butler back. The butler asked the aunts to set up the tables and prepare dinner. William Walton asked, Is her room ready? Yes, Mr. Walton, the butler said to her. Miss Green, we have already cleaned up your room. As for your clothes, I have everyone prepare them for you to hang in the cloakroom. Follow Mr. Walton's instructions. Other than that, if there is anything on Big City Home that you need these few days, you can give me a detailed list. I will send someone to help you retrieve it. After thinking about it, she said, My deposit slips are in the drawer under my bedside table, as well as my diploma. They are my most important items. William Walton raised his eyebrows. You even have a deposit slip? She looked at him. Do poor people have to be penniless? People with certificates of deposit can't be considered poor anymore. I'm too lazy to argue with you. I want to go in and change into a comfortable set of clothes. Go. She was about to enter the room on the first floor where she had slept. William Walton said unhurriedly, Your room has been upgraded to the second floor. She looked at him warmly. Why? Guess, William Walton said as he walked upstairs. She followed him upstairs with a warm and depressed expression on her face. William Walton stopped at the door of the room right next to his bedroom and knocked with his finger. You stay in this room. She pushed the door open and walked in. Just as William Walton was about to enter, she turned around and said, I want to change clothes. He smiled. I'll see you at the dinner table in 10 minutes, new neighbor. She closed the door with a smile on her face. New neighbor. This was because the clothes prepared by the butler were too expensive. She didn't dare to wear them to school for fear of causing unnecessary trouble. Thus, when they were eating, they asked the butler for his help and sent some to help her pack up a few sets of clothes, as well as her precious items. After the items were retrieved, she carried them into the room. William Walton followed her in and hugged her. You woman, you are truly strange. The cloakroom that other women dream of, is it not able to attract you at all? It's not that the cloakroom can't attract me, but that the current me won't wear these clothes at all. She hung her clothes one by one in the corner. I'm a teacher. Why do I wear such flowery clothes? Are you trying to attract young boys to pursue me? After she said this confidently, William Walton smirked. That's right. She rolled her eyes at him and came out of the cloakroom. She picked up her passbook and prepared to put it in her graduation certificate. William Walton stood next door and looked at the numbers on the deposit book and was a little surprised. You actually have a bank account of $200,000. Isn't that good? It seems like the jobs you worked for didn't disappoint you. Not all of it is my money. Some of it was made by my mom, and she left it for me to go to college. Part of it was saved by me over the years. To me, this is a huge sum of money. Do you want me to help you make use of the $200,000? No. Everyone knows that the capitalists are always scheming against each other. What if you swallow my money? Then I'll be more at ease with the huge amount of money I have. Seeing her reaction, William Walton was speechless. This was the first time that he was rejected. This woman was simply too blind. No matter how vile I am, I still wouldn't be able to look down on your small amount of money. Are you sure you don't need me? In the entire Philadelphia, there should be no one who knows how to invest better than me. She hesitated for a moment before saying, Really? Do you not trust me, or do you not trust my ability? After thinking about it, she also heard that investing was better than saving. If she bought a house, she couldn't afford it, but she didn't understand investment at all. She looked down at her passbook before handing it to him. This my sense of security. Your sense of security should be me, not this. He accepted the book with a smile. To be able to pass on her sense of security to him meant that she already had no doubts about himself. Very good. At noon on the second day, just as she was about to get off work, John Anderson called her. In fact, seeing his number, she already thought of John Anderson's reason for finding her. However, it would be useless if she hid it from him. Therefore, she picked up the phone. Come to the company and find me while it's noon. Why would I want to see you? If you don't want me to send someone to the school to bring you here, then you'd better come obediently. After all, we have a father and daughter relationship, and I don't want you to be embarrassed. After she clenching her fist for a moment, she lightly said, A despicable person like you, I already don't expect you to be so high-spirited. All right, I'm too lazy to continue this useless tug of war with you. I'll go, by the way. I also have something to say.